OG reefs and aquariums. So today, man, we got a problem. So I got the Skimmer. This, what is this here? Octo something something. I'll tell you in a second. Can't remember the model name, but it's going crazy. Basically what happened is, for some reason, there's an adjustment. Well, let me show you better, I can tell you. So this is under the sump. So actually, let me get you guys some light here. 1 second here. Had this set up. There we go. And cabinet light. Alright, a little better. Okay, so this is the Skimmer, and look what it's doing. Now, that's at about recommended 8 inches of water. There's an adjustment valve all the way to the right that's fully open, and it's just so wet. Even when it's wet like this, basically when I put the cap on, eventually it overfills. Not right. This is new. Now, what appears to have happened is that, and I tried to tape it off, but this adjustment valve here, right, adjusts the height. And even that close, it's not fully closed anymore. In other words, it's a boo-boo, boo-boo, boo-boo Skimmer. So, I ordered a new Skimmer, and I'll show you what it is in a second for the new 110 coming. But until then, I need to skim for my tank. So, luckily, and this is what I want to tell you guys, you got to plan ahead. Now, I knew that having a Skimmer that was dependent on the height of the sump can be problematic. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit. I'm going to set up a GoPro here that I actually thought ahead, and I have it on a platform, which is adjustable height. So ideally, what I need to do is, let me cut off my ATO also at the same time, is increase the height of the platform, which will drop the water level in the Skimmer. Thus, I shouldn't have the overflowing until the 110 and the new Skimmer come. But until then, what I'm going to run is see that I have a water level with very little clearance. So I'm afraid if I move it up, I might have to increase the water level in the sump to make up the difference. But I neglect. Let's check it out. So on the apex, we're going to stop the return pump, which is programmed that the return pump cut off, effectively the whole system shuts down. I'm going to remove the sample lines for the trident. Actually, I'm going to move it to the side here. This is my automatic top-off sensor. We're going to move this out the way. Stick it over here. And let's remove the Octo Skimmer. Okay, so this is what I think the problem is. Now you see this adjustment, and this goes to my CO2 scrubber. See this adjustment here, it goes high-low, right? And as you twist this actually adjusts the level that's within the actual Skimmer. You see that, but what's happening is that this is incredibly loose now. And over a period of time, once it's set, this slips. And it doesn't really adjust anymore. You know, even though it's moving the plunger, I believe this is defective. So even all the way closed, and it doesn't even say 0 anymore, it still says 4. All the way closed, the water level is too high at the top. Not acceptable. New one coming. So actually I bought a really nice Skimmer for the 110. New one coming. So I got to make this one work for another 2-3 weeks. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do. So move this to the side. This is some sponges I have in the tank just in case I want to start another tank. So buy a little filtration. Reach in here, and here it is right here. Take this out. And da-da. What you see is it's on the lowest level, so we're just basically going to add another inch or so of height to the overall stance and profile of the Skimmer, thus hopefully fixing this problem. So these are pretty handy. I bought this in my local fish store, LFS. It's basically just plexiglass, but the cool thing about it is 3 height settings. And I plan on using this on the next tank too, which actually has a bigger Skimmer, because I plan on running a higher level of water in the Skimmer, because the higher the water in the Skimmer, the more tank volume you have, right? Good old trusty ghetto butter knife always helps out, right? You guys know about that. Butter knife to the rescue. Don't let my wife see this because she'll freak out. My butter knife using your fish tank. And da 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 da. Sit higher. So we're going to take this over to the sump, which is here. Raise the level, mount it, turn it on, see what the difference is. Be right back. Turn it on. Let me set these up here. Oh shit! Shoot! I could override the skimmer being off, but I think in this I can override it. The skimmer being off, but actually going here. I think I can override it. See? Now the skimmer's on. Now let's just see what happens with the elevated height. Now it's still going to overflow, right? And that's because the water level's too high. Now it's going to cut the return pump on. That's going to level out the water level. The water level is going to drop to a point where it's going to suck in air, which means I got to add more water. But that's fine. So this is what we're dealing with. It should be dropping pretty soon. And that's the really what I thought is sucking in water there. And it cuts off because it's sucking in more water. So I gotta figure that out. So that's my next thing to figure out. So let's go ahead and kill this. And let's kill the return pump. And I'll be back. Alright, so you see here, this is how it looks now on the bottom of the sump. What I had was, this platform I created in there. And it's just added too much height. So now, hopefully that's at a good height where I don't have to adjust the water level of the sump. As you see, the water kind of cleared up. It was a mess. So now let's proceed to reconnect the CO2 scrubber to the air intake down here. Okay. That looks good. Looking good, looking good. Now, like once again, I won't know until I start it up. And on the apex again, we're going to start the return pump's on right now. Okay, then we're going to start the skimmer. Skimmer starts up. And we're hoping that this is what we're working with right there. See, that's the intake right here. When it right below the water level, we want that to stop before it hits to the red neck. It's close, guys. It's close. It's close. We might. Oh, it's slowly over. Oh, it's just enough. We might have caught a break. All right. So let's let that just settle out. Allow me a second to put the top on, and I'll be right back and we'll take a look at it. So this is where we're at now. So no, before I made this adjustment, the water level I ideally want to have right within here at the bottom of the neck. Okay, but I'll settle for this right now. What it used to be up here. But now, so I picked up about 2-3 inches. That should allow for some type of foam to communicate foam and then fill up the cup. So I think we're okay. Now, as in water levels, very important now is that I set the ATO so that the water level drops no lower than this. Anything lower than this, we're going to suck up air into the intake. So go ahead and turn the ATO on. Put this back up. As you can see on the apex, it's labeled ATO. I'm actually going to cut it on. Apex, the ATO is in the back. And by adjusting this, we're going to see the water level is too high. Water level is going to fall. I'm going to adjust it down right where it'll be, then the water should cut off. So let's go ahead and adjust this. Now I'm sorry, too high. There you go. So water's working. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and adjust this down. Right there. So that's our water height. So if the water level drops any lower than this, I'm going to move this over to the sump now. we're going to maintain that water level and foam. So I think we're good to go, guys. Alright, now we're going to go back over to the Apex, put everything on auto, because you can override on means any presets that you have are overridden by the on statement. If I go to Skimmer auto and return from auto, basically at this point, if there's any wet floor sensor thing goes off, it's going to trigger, first thing it's going to do is cut off the return pump. The return pump in turns triggers everything else to cut off because it's set to auto, and also the tank light, the cabinet light. And it's going to alert me that there's wetness in the sensors, which is backside to the tank, and cuts everything off. I have to manually come check those, reset those sensors, and cut it back on. And here's the Reef. Alright, guys. So there it is. OG Reefs and aquariums. Just getting it done, Remember, like, subscribe, hit the subscribe button, like button down below. Help me grow the channel. I appreciate your time. Real reefing for real dudes from a real cat that's been doing it for a long time. Work good. And remember, reefing is not a race. It's about patience and consistency. Peace, like, subscribe. OG's out. Sam, your boy. Later.